fun. Okay, there we go. Now it's recording. All right. We are live. What's up, Internet?
How's it going?
Kotecast number 2. We got Andy here. He's my guest tonight. He's a close friend of mine. And I got Miss Coat here as well. She's gonna sit in with us and hang out. And we're just gonna talk about well, nothing in particular really. We're just gonna talk. We're probably gonna talk about some music. Andy is one of those people that is very, very into music, and it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of rare to find somebody that's like that's you know, I guess that interested in the subject, like that will listen to a song and not just be like, oh yeah, that's a good song, I like that. You'll go through and kind of like deconstruct the song and listen to the individual parts, and that's something that I do with a lot of music, and I don't really find myself finding a lot of people that do that as well. So it's kind of cool when I come across someone that does, and like you're one of the few people I know that you know looks at it the same way.
I concur.
You concur.
It's cool meeting people that have that same kind of depth to it, I guess.
Yeah, let's hope this isn't super loud when it comes on.
If it's a good song.
Nice.
Okay, at least you know it works.
Dude?
No, it doesn't. That sounds terrible.
Does it sound terrible to you guys? Shaking my head, guys.
Yeah, it sounds really bad.
It just sounds like an old boombox.
Yeah, super low quality.
Yeah,
Straight out of the '80s. Did you ever have a boombox back in the day?
Oh yeah, they were awesome. I've been looking for one like online, but
No luck. No luck.
Not any cool ones.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Sadness indeed. I used to have a CD player, like a little portable CD player that I carried around everywhere.
Oh really?
Yeah, I didn't make the boombox era. That was a little before my time. Even Walkmans, old cassette players, that was before my time too.
I had boom boxes. I still have a Walkman.
Like an old school Walkman, like that belongs in a museum, man.
I got 2 backpacks full of cassette tapes too that I still.
I used to have a bucket of cassette tapes that my uncle gave me when I was a kid, and I think that's one of the things that started my fascination with rock music. Is it I don't know who the bands were. it was a lot of like 80s and 90s, like grunge and hair bands. That's what he was into.
Oh,
and
really?
those were my cool tapes.
What was the first band that you remember liking of his music?
Of his music? Man, I can't really recall any like certain song.
Sing it. Just kidding.
Yeah, just start singing
If I had to think one song, I think that's the first time I remember hearing Enter Sandman was.
Oh really?
Yeah, was on one of those tapes. So I don't know if it was like a burnt. I don't know. See, my youth is showing. I don't know.
It's a burnt cassette tape.
I don't know if it was a recorded cassette tape from the radio, or if it was like the actual Black Album cassette tape.
Yeah.
Which would have been really cool. My fascination with Metallica didn't start until like way later, but
yeah.
I had my mom over here the other day, and we were talking about the music that I listened to growing up, and I don't really. Oh, hold on. Yours isn't facing you; it's facing me. Yeah, there you go. But no, I was talking to my mom about the music that I listened to growing up, and I guess what she listened to, because she says that I listened to a lot of Metallica, and like kind of like not really like their thrashy stuff, but like they're more like load era stuff. That's what she was a big fan of. But I don't remember that at all. I remember listening to a lot of country music and a lot of like 90s R&B growing up.
How old were you when Black Album came out?
I do not believe that I was even a thought.
What?
I was not. Well, it came out, what, 91?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think so.
You weren't even.
Yeah, I'm a 94 baby.
Man.
I'm a baby.
You already graduated college by the time you were born.
I am. It's true. I'm a little baby.
That's
hey,
crazy. at work the other day, I was talking to this girl, and she was commenting on my hair because the very end of it is all dead.
Oh yeah.
It gets real dry.
Your ends are split.
Yeah, and it was terrible. And I told her, I said, well, I need to cut all my hair off. I said, I did that back in 2009. And she was like, God, that was 10 years ago. She goes, 10 years ago, I was in the single digits. And
Oh wow.
That make you feel old.
that made me feel
Yeah. I like making people feel old.
I was
It's
like,
funny.
how old were you? She's like, I was 9. Like, oh.
Like, you're just a young. You're a pup. You're just a pup.
Mhm.
Yeah, 10 years is freaking a long time.
It
'cause
is,
We've been
man.
together for 7. And
Man, so like so much
3
is
more years. So
much has happened in
yeah.
like those 7 years. Like it's been crazy. That's another Andy. Andy used to be our youth group teacher.
Yes.
Well, I guess it wasn't necessarily youth group. I feel like it was more like young adults because
Yeah,
we were already
We were
like
past our
yeah
youth.
like both of us were already 18.
Yeah.
But whenever we met, but
That's what they kind of classified it as, youth. But I knew. I
no,
was,
the youth kind of did their own thing.
Yeah, youth is kind of
Theirs is more like kind of like a
more kid.
fun and like game
Mhm.
centered, not so much learning.
and that's the way I'm just not into that.
Yeah,
I mean, not that I'm not into it because I know it's important, but that's just not me. I'd rather talk about like the issues that go on, and meet people where their struggles are and things like that instead of, hey, let's play a game and let's just have fun. And
yeah. Well, I mean, it can be hard to like. I feel like it can be hard to like get to. I guess maybe get to like the root issue with it. A lot of people are facing if they're struggling with something. When
yeah,
like you kind of present everything like it's a party.
Yeah.
Like let's just life's fun. Life's all fun,
Yeah.
fun and games.
You'll
It's
never
not presented
come
that way,
in
but,
any obstacles.
yeah, it's hard to change the topic or change the mood and find out
Yeah.
really what's going on. But
Yeah, and you need that.
yeah, and that's why I enjoyed our group.
Ours was pretty good, man. I had some really, really, really good, insightful conversations and a lot of epiphany type moments.
Yeah,
And I don't know, it was just good. It was good times. But the point of that was that Andy has been around for the majority of our 7 years. Like he's a good friend. So
yeah.
you guys are being treated to an Ando
Honored.
podcast.
Yeah, this
Being
is
honored.
an AA meeting.
That's
Yes.
right. Me and my water and Andy and his monster. We got problems, man.
Yeah, but that's when I found out you were really into music. We started talking about that. That was one thing that we connected on, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of just kind of opened a lot of doors because you can use that to go down a lot of avenues.
Oh, yeah, like-
music.
Like music, that's something that like I feel like I could go on for hours, like
Mhm.
just talking like forever about my favorite bands. Because I mean, I was this way back in high school, and I'm still this way now, or I'm still that way now. If I get
Yeah.
really into a band, like I'll do deep dives on them. I'll learn about the members.
Yeah.
I'll like learn where they're from. I'll learn their all kinds of stuff. I don't want to sound
Yeah.
creepy, but I learn a lot of stuff.
I learned their freaking social, dude.
I'm
I
the
learned their
same way.
blood type, and I run DNA
Yeah.
tests on their hair.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But
But now that I'm older and I got money, I'll go buy all their albums. And
see, that's me now. I like to buy albums. Like,
back then I couldn't. I just buy the latest one. And
and that's kind of what I hate about new music. Well, not so much in our preferred genre, but I guess in a lot of the mainstream, like there's not really a focus on albums anymore. Like the focus is all on
Yeah.
singles. What you can get out there and get to the mass and play on the radio.
yeah.
Well, actually, I don't think radio airplay is what's going to get you out there anymore. Because most people
It's
don't
all
listen to the
going
radio in the
the
car.
internet now.
Yeah, it's internet or movies or something
Yeah.
like that. Or
Everyone,
games.
people are blowing up on the internet out of nowhere now, and they're like nowhere on the radio, but still they have a huge
Mhm.
following.
Yeah.
Like that one girl, Billie
Billie
Eyelash.
Eyelash.
Yeah, Billie Eyelash.
Yeah.
Have you heard of her? I really like her personally,
She's
Um,
anti-pop, but
but her
still pop.
voice
Anti-pop, that's
is
like rock, metal. Just kidding.
yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty accurate. But no, her voice is like it's like it's not unique. Like she
Like
sings in
it's
that style that like Lord sings in,
Oh, really?
like that
Yeah.
kind of like that
How
like
everyone
whisper,
is
like
talk,
half
kind of.
talk singing, you know.
Mhm.
And it's like I like that style, You know, you can have good songs with it, but there's so many people that sing that way.
Yeah, I like it when Lord does it, but when everybody else does it, then to me it's like.
Well, it's just like my thing my theory with metal bands, like the screaming metal bands that I listen to.
Yeah.
Generally, you're probably gonna like the first one you listen to, because a lot of those metal bands, they're like a dime a dozen. Like there are so many, and they all kind of play the same similar style, which I like metalcore. That's my favorite genre my favorite subgenre of metal, but I really think that's what it is. I think it's whatever band you discover first, that's going to be your favorite one. I think that's the reason why I like August Burns Red so much, is because that was like the first screaming metal band. Well, not the first, but the first one I really got into.
I think that's with any music though, because I knew a girl that she was really into U2. She went to a U2 concert and said it was like a spiritual event or whatever, a spiritual experience, I guess. And then she don't listen to anything but bands that sound like U2.
Really?
Yeah, and I made her this CD. I burned her this cassette tape.
I'll say that sounds like your area of expertise.
No, I burned her this CD and put like all different types of music on there. Good songs that I thought were good. Not good as in got a lot of radio play or anything like that, but good
it's
as
just
in
good songs.
structured.
Just that, they sound good.
How dare you?
And I gave it to her, and she gave it back to me and said she hated every single song.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
yeah.
Oh,
but
Andy.
I mean, people will get that way. They like one thing and they know what they like,
and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I like this.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, that's not really atypical.
And
like that's
good point.
standard.
Nauseum says, massive cliche, but music really is a universal understanding. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a universal truth in a way that's hard to explain, is what he says.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, I'm racking that around in my brain, trying to like figure out what he means.
Yeah, Nauseum.
Yeah, elaborate on it, or one of you two.
And
Give
quit
share
calling
your
me a
thoughts.
moron.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna give you one of these.
He says, the talentless morons have made an undeserved name for themselves, like Mrs. Coate. How dare you? I'll catch you outside after...
You want
I
to
think
catch
he
these
included
hands?
me in that, didn't he?
Nah.
I don't even know you.
Get out of here. You don't even go here.
Okay, so we segued into something, but I think I was talking about the music that I listen to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Metal.
I want to back it up though. I want to work up to how I got there, how I got to listening to metal. So like as far back as I can remember, I remember my mom listening to like 90s alternative. Like I can recall, I know she listened to a lot
like
of
Train,
Matchbox 20, Third Eye Blind.
that somebody
I can't
guy.
think of anyone.
Somebody once told me.
Somebody.
Who's that?
That's Smash Mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, Smash Mouth.
Dude, she did listen to Smash Mouth. I remember that. Savage Garden. I don't know if I said that. I think I might have already said that, but that's one that I remember a lot.
That's
of songs
what she
from.
liked. That's the kind of music she liked.
That's what she listened to.
Yeah.
She claims Metallica, but I don't remember any Metallica. But so I listened to that from and country music. I listened to that from her, and then like 90s R&B from Keith, my stepdad at the time, and that created some pretty annoying situations because he thought that he could sing, and I mean I guess he could, but he chose the worst times to do it. Like I'd be sitting there watching my Saturday morning cartoons, having my bowl of cereal, watching I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that. And dude goes to lay down some crazy powerful card, and like Keith will just turn around in his chair, and like he'll have headphones on, and just like bust out singing, like at the top of his lungs, just singing these like Keith Sweat songs. And I'm like, this is a little creepy because I'm like 10, like
Just serenading you.
yes, serenading me. But no, like I feel like I kind of grew to resent R&B because of that.
I love R&B.
Oh yeah,
That's one of my
I like
main
it now.
musics of
Like
choice
it's
at the
very
moment.
chill, man.
But I go
love
through
I
phases.
love the feel of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
But then my sister went through like a goth phase when she was a teenager, and she had the Slipknot CD, their first album, And
Is that really goth though?
no, that's just metal.
Yeah.
It's just metal. But like that was like, I guess part of her
She
scene.
got it wrong.
You know. Yeah, she got it wrong. She got goth wrong. Should have been listening to 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah. She's goth country.
Goth country.
Isn't that what's his face?
Goth country. That'd be like Brantley Gilbert. No, that's like country rock.
Who's that one guy that did rock and roll for a bit and then he went back to country?
Kid Rock.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah. Wait, was that
Oh,
him?
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
Oh yeah, was that him? Where you like?
Wearing
yeah.
his guy liner. Chris Gaines
Yeah.
and his guy liner.
Wait, was that his real name?
No,
it's-
Garth Brooks is
He
his
did
real
a
name.
Yeah, he did an album under Chris Gaines and was rock and roll.
I remember when I learned about that, like my mind was blown.
Yeah, you
I
were
was like,
surprised. What? That's Garth Brooks.
that is not Garth Brooks. This man is a cowboy. He does not wear guy liner.
He wears guy liner.
Guy liner.
No, I listened to his music too. The Chris Gaines. I didn't listen to the whole album. I didn't like it. I listened to like 2 songs, and I was like, "This is trash." And I
Throw
turned
it
it.
I
away.
didn't even listen to it. I don't know.
I don't want my ears to bleed.
It belongs in the garbage. It was a hot pile of trash.
Hot pile.
But so yeah, country music.
Yeah, I don't like country music. I mean, I used to listen to country music.
Yeah,
a
you
lot,
did. You listened to country music when we got together.
But okay. I don't really like the pop country, and I don't like the rap country. Like whatever the heck they're trying to do now in country is kind of not my taste.
Trap country. That's what
Trap
I call it.
country.
Trap country because they use like trap beats
I like
in their
some
songs.
of the
It's
like
funny.
mid 2000s country, I guess.
I would say I'll say like mid 2000s
I
and
feel
like
like
some
that's pretty
90s.
good. Yeah.
Andy's like, nah,
You
no
don't listen
country.
to country at all?
No, I
Country
tried.
is like the estranged like brother of rock music.
Yeah, well,
like-
there's some country I like, but it's like
You liked like Chris Stapleton, right?
no.
You don't like him?
Mm.
I
I
dig
can't
him.
remember. Like Jamie Johnson. Have you heard that song? You should have seen it in color or something like that.
Mm-mm.
It's
I
kind
think
of
so.
it's kind of a real slow song. And
I
it's
think
just
I
the
have
voice.
heard that.
But it's a really cool song. Country like that, you know. When it gets all, you know, I hate to say it, but like twangy and stuff like
Oh,
that, you
yeah.
know.
When it becomes country.
Yeah, then I can't like it.
Like
When you're talking about
banjos.
bear trucks
Yeah.
and getting
what's
the
crazy
weekend
is-
off and
I learned that what's it that song In the Middle of Me on guitar, and I learned how to sing it and play guitar.
Isn't that Todd Agnew?
Todd Agnew, yeah.
I know that first part, the
Well, I learned that song and I sang
That's
it,
all I
and
know.
then I came out sounding like country. My voice was country, and I hated it.
Ew.
Be like,
I'm
I'm never
rock.
gonna listen to this.
Gross.
I'm
I'm never gonna
sing.
play it again.
I'm never gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Never
Hey,
gonna dance
are we lagging
again.
really bad?
Guys, how's the stream? Is the stream lagging at all? It's coming up really laggy on my phone, but
You're also not on the Wi-Fi.
I was on Wi-Fi and I was doing the same thing,
I was doing the same.
so I figured to turn it off. But let us know how's everything going. Give us a quick
Yeah,
update.
tell us.
How about that boy Chris Stapleton? I don't know. I don't listen to him.
So anyway, backpedaling a little bit. Slipknot.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I wanted to listen to this album like really bad because this was like as far back as I can remember. This was my first exposure to rock music and to like I think rock music in general. Like I don't remember listening to it before this.
Slipknot was your first?
I think so. Slipknot took my metal virginity. I think that's
Gross.
yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sicko gross.
Gross.
But no, I snuck into my sister's room and took that CD and I listened to it on my little Walkman, and I just really liked it. Like I really liked like the aggression. I think I don't know. I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have been listening to Slipknot, but my mom asked me what I was listening to one day. And you know that scene in King of the Hill where Hank puts on the headphones and it's like toilet noises, it's like fart noises.
Yeah.
It was like that. My mom put the headphones on. It was just, she was like mortified by what she was hearing.
This is disgusting.
She was like, "That is the devil's music. You don't need to be listening to this." And I've went back and listened to that album since.
Mhm.
No, it wasn't that album. It was the second one. It was Iowa, And I get it. I understand.
Mhm.
I understand why my mom didn't want me listening to Slipknot at that age. Like, it is...
Yeah.
Like, it's
pretty
super
bad.
aggressive. Like,
Yeah.
like there's heavy, you know. Then there's just aggressive, like just angry
Noise.
music. And to me, Slipknot kind of fits into that category. Like early Korn is, in the same boat.
Well,
Early
they have
Korn's like
12 members, don't they?
they have
Korn's
9.
fired one of their
No,
members.
Slipknot did.
Oh, Slipknot did.
Yeah, they fired the Pinocchio guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just saw that just recently. Huh?
Yeah. He's suing the band.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, over royalty issues. But he's claiming that Corey Taylor and Sean, whatever the clown guy's name is, Corey and Sean, they started these sub companies on the side and were funneling money through the record company into these side companies, but they weren't sharing any profit from those like third party companies or whatever. So like they were keeping all the profit, and so that one guy didn't get anything.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor dude.
I mean, I want to say poor dude, but like, dude, you were in Slipknot.
Yeah.
Like you.
Playing for
I mean,
thousands of people.
you're making. He's still making millions.
Was he just the one that ran around?
No, he actually played on a drum set.
Oh, okay.
He played on this drum set that was weird. It was more. I think it was more of like a stage presence thing. Like the drum set like moved around.
Oh, was it the one, the circle? He just crawled on it?
Yeah, he crawled on it and like hit it with like the big wooden sticks.
Wait, was it one of those
guy.
ones that go boom, 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 boom?
No, that's
Like the turtle
steel.
shell
That's a
ones?
steel drum.
Oh.
Steel drum.
Steel hand drum. I want one of.
Gross.
I want one of those though. Hey, I turned my head away.
You know it.
Gross.
Taking your metal virginity sounds like something you need a tetanus shot for. Good one, Nana.
But so anyway, we're fast forward a few years. I think I kind of like. I didn't listen to music really. Still, like at that point, I just listened to like whatever my family listened to, like whatever my mom and my sister went through a million phases. So like the metal phase didn't last, or goth metal phase didn't last very long.
Yeah, I don't see her as metal.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone went through their goth phase though.
Yeah. Well, my mom used to say that Carrie was kind of like a chameleon. Like she kind of like
Do whatever
morphed
else
into
everyone's
whatever was going on around her.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually how the world works. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, she's that's
She's a teenager, and that's
yeah,
what
she was a
teenagers
teenager,
do.
and that's what teenagers do.
Yeah.
But I remember going over to a
I
friend's
wasn't
house.
that way, though.
Not Andy. Andy's not like Andy.
He's
either.
always been the same
Yeah.
Andy's always been like this. He's always looked exactly this way
ever
too.
since he was born.
Jeans and t-shirt.
And even walking through the halls in high school, he looked just like this.
Yeah.
Like people would come up to him thinking he was a teacher.
They're like, you're old.
They seen him in that movie, and they're like, "Hey, you're that guy that was in that movie, dude. You're the one in the
Oh yeah.
back."
Interesting fact. This guy has been in movies.
Yeah.
He
This is a
freaking,
famous actor.
Yeah,
Not a famous actor.
he's getting up there.
Yeah, he's getting up there. In such titles as The Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
Some movie with Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, that was Suspect Zero.
Suspect Zero.
Yeah.
There was like another one, wasn't there?
Yeah, Tecumseh, and there was No Turning Back.
No turning back.
Yeah. There's like 2 movies, No Turning Back, and one of them's pretty dark.
Really?
Yeah. So when I tell people that, I'm like, no, that was like a school project type of thing. It was on PBS for a while, but it's not the one that was in theaters because that one's pretty
Gruesome.
Yeah. I don't know if it's dark as in like gory type of, I don't know, serial killer type of stuff, or if it's like dark, like 50 Shades Darker type of.
Oh boy!
gross.
So like it's
I hate
it's,
to say,
it's
yeah,
an,
I'm in
it's
that
an
movie.
either or movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
known for that.
Don't go. Watch
We
that
have to go
You
go
might
find
watch
this movie now, guys.
Secret name.
Yeah.
But so yeah, famous Andy. Hey, will you see if you can find another aux cord somewhere? I think that we have one. I don't know where else we
There's
have
one
one.
in my
Actually,
car.
I got one in my car too.
I'm wondering if it's maybe this cord. Why that's not working?
Your music.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be able to hear it anyway, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
It's
just a
you
random thought.
guys.
But so anyway, we ended up moving to Florida at some point, and I went over to a friend's house, and at that time, like his dad was into like rock and metal. His dad was like a tattoo artist and like a motocross guy.
Cool.
He was like what I would have considered a cool dude at like
Cool
at
dude.
10 years old. But I was sitting in my friend's room and we were listening to, I think he had that same Slipknot CD, and I was listening to that and I hadn't heard it in a long time. You know, like I said, my sister transitioned through her phases, so like I think that kind of like reignited, you know, my interest in it.
Yeah.
And then I went over to his house again the next day, and he had gotten Linkin Park's second CD, Meteora, and that's the one that did me in. Like,
Right.
that's the one that like, because I think at that time at at the age that I was, Slipknot was a little too heavy. They just
Yeah.
they were a little too much for me, you know.
It's almost like you have to have a lot going on in your life for that to kind of
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, I thought, well, that's why, you know, teenagers like it so much,
Yeah.
especially angsty teenagers.
Yeah.
Get
But,
all that angst out.
Yeah.
Mm.
But man, like that's all I wanted was that CD. Like that's all I wanted for Christmas that year. Like my mom would ask me, "What do you want for Christmas?" I was like, "Oh, I want that Linkin Park CD." Like that's yeah. Do you want anything else? And like I couldn't even think of anything else. Like
I'll
that's
take another
all
one.
I wanted. I was like, "Give me
I'll
two."
take 5.
Two,
Give me
please.
2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I did get two of them. I got one from my mom and one from this lady that we were living with at the time. We were going through a rough time, so we were actually we were living on somebody's porch. Like they had like this screened-in porch, and we like insulated the windows, and we were kind of like
Really?
living there. Yeah, this was a long time ago. This was like 3rd grade, 4th grade for me, like first year, 4th grade.
So like right before you came to my school.
Yeah, right before I met Miss Coate for the first time.
Yeah. Cool.
I think it was right before then, because I think I moved from there to here. But either way, like I got that CD and like, bro, like that CD was on repeat for years, years, man. That was my stuff.
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
You know, I never got into them. And I
Well,
don't know.
yeah,
Still
the new metal phase, man. I think I came into music like at that time. Like that's what was popular, so that's
Yeah.
naturally what I was drawn to.
Yeah, and I can understand that. Just
Because a lot of older people, especially a lot of older metalheads, like they don't like new metal. Like they don't like bands like Korn, Slipknot,
I like
Linkin
Korn.
Park. Korn's part of that new metal wave.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's when I was in college. This was the first time I heard Korn,
Which
and it was off that very first album.
mhm. Well, that first album, like that first Korn album is really good.
Yeah.
Like it's got so many like just really heavy and just like, for lack of a better term, like fat riffs. Like
Yeah, it was just real heavy.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a really good album. I really like it. I went through a period a couple years ago where I had bought the first 5 albums from a friend of mine.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I started listening to it, and I had never really gotten that into them, and I think that was around the time I got that 7-string, so I was like,
Yeah.
you know, trying to learn how to play their songs, but that didn't work out. I got tired of it. I was like, I don't ever play this guitar. I'm just going to get rid of it,
Yeah.
which it worked out in the long run, so, well, it's in the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Korn. When I was in Lawrence, Kansas, going to school, they had this radio station up there from Kansas City, Missouri, and it played a lot of just college, what I would consider college type music.
Yeah.
And I would just listen to that all the time, and I would do it old school and just have a tape deck and record songs. And so I had a whole bunch of songs from that, and Korn was one of them. That Blind.
Yeah.
And I just thought it sounded different, sounded heavy, and sounded really cool. And here I didn't realize that was their like first album and stuff like that. But I kind of listened to them since then.
Yeah, I guess whenever that album dropped, like a lot of people didn't know what to call them.
Yeah,
Like they were like, are they metal? Are they rap? Like
they were just rock to me.
yeah.
Of course, I'm old, so
Yeah, you're
everything's
old.
just rock.
Everything's just rock or metal. It's
Rock
like
or
it's I feel like
country.
it's rock up to a certain point,
No more
and then once you
subgenres.
cross that, it's just metal.
Yeah,
Which that is valid. That is a very valid view.
There is different,
Very valid view.
Now there is metal, you know, like even back, like when I'm listening to like Judas Priest or something like that, I still consider that rock and roll.
To me, I consider that it's heavy metal. Like heavy metal is a genre in its own.
Heavy metal was like screaming and just.
No, heavy metal that's like Black Sabbath era, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden.
That's still rock. That's just.
I guess that maybe because I'm younger. I'm a younger guy,
you know?
so.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Classic rock.
Yeah, generally heavy metal is regarded as, or at least by like the younger dudes, as like older stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like you said, man, too many subgenres, and I agree with that. Like I remember you saying once that you didn't like the subgenres because it seemed like you do one thing different, and then like you get a genre named after you.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes it be like that.
Yeah, I wish that I could have been around and like into music like whenever grunge kind of peaked or whenever it started to kind of make its way into the mainstream.
Yeah.
In that documentary I was watching about the history of metal, they were just talking about how metal kind of became so mainstream and so I guess accessible by the public. With bands like Bon Jovi, like. That's the example they used in that documentary. Is like that was like one of the main like girl bands. Go to a Bon Jovi show and you get like 1 million women up there, and that was like their thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
kind of like.
It's all the hair metal stuff in the '80s.
Yeah,
and guys that just look like girls. I don't know what the deal was then.
Yeah. Have you watched the movie The Dirt, the Motley Crue biopic on Netflix?
I haven't seen the movie yet.
I watched a little bit of it. Probably not going to be your taste, but I don't know. It was strange, but as I was watching it, it was showing pictures of Motley Crue through I think the intro to the movie, and man, like they really do look like women. Look like
women.
Women. No, guys in drag, I guess would be the
Poison was
appropriate term.
Was really girly looking.
Well, Bret Michaels is just.
Bret Michaels is super flamboyant.
Well, the drummer looked like a girl. I thought it was a girl. And like Stryper was the same way. And I don't know. There's a band called Enough's Enough they look like girls.
Well, even going back to like Van Halen and like, the stuff that they wore, super tight, like leotards.
David Lee Roth. Yeah,
David Lee Roth was
doing all these acrobatic stuff on stage and high kicks and
that's what girls
splits.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. it sells. It made them money, so
yeah,
they must have done something right.
Yeah, and I don't know. I never understood that.
Yeah,
because to me it was about music. Well, I don't know. If I was in a band, it would be just about music. You go out there and
Well, that was like the big draw of like Metallica and all these other thrash bands.
Yeah,
which I heard this from Dee Snider said in this interview that the Metallica opened up for Twisted Sister at a show, and they said that like he said it was like nothing he had seen before. Like he said, he had these kids go out there that like they just I don't know. It was like they played this music that was just real fast and really heavy, and they didn't have like an appearance. Like they were just kids that went out there and like beat up clothes with old guitars and just were playing music because that's what they wanted to do. They didn't have an image they were worrying about. That didn't come until later.
And then think about it. They made millions and probably one of the biggest bands,
Oh, yeah. One of. Yeah, but Metallica is my number one. They're my favorite band. Andy is a pretty big fan as well.
Yeah. Well, I really didn't become a fan of theirs until the Black Album. And that was after, they lost a lot of their...
lost a lot of their credibility from
their
metal
lost
fans.
A lot of their true fans and stuff,
True fans.
But I was we went to a Monsters of Rock show in Texas, and it was Metallica, Dawkins, Scorpions, Van Halen. But we took my cousin, and my cousin's favorite band was Metallica, and it was during their No Justice for All.
They're the Injustice for All.
Injustice for All, yeah. No Justice for All.
No Justice.
But he was like, we were sitting way up in the the nosebleed section, and he wanted to get down to the bottom to see his favorite band. So we walked down there and walked all the way up close to the stage, and watch their whole set.
Really?
Yeah.
Like when you had nosebleed tickets?
Yeah.
I wish we could have done that when we saw them.
I thought it was cool, you know, and I thought, man, I want to listen to this band more, and so I started listening to them. But shortly after that, that's when the Black Album came out, and that album I think is a really great album.
That album is fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a bad song on it.
I've seen that album. I've seen that tour maybe twice. I seen at the Oklahoma City State Fair. You remember the grandstand?
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like a little track, a dirt track or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Car races
I think
or whatever.
so.
But I seen them there, and Jerry Cantrell jumped on stage with them and did Ride the Lightning.
Really?
Yeah,
That would have been cool.
because Lane Staley, Alice in Chains was opening up for him that tour, but Lane Staley went to rehab, and so since Jerry Cantrell's from Oklahoma, I guess he was here, and so when they came, he
just popped up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, surprise, guys!
So that was cool. You know, that's kind of one of those things that, you know, once in a lifetime things that happen at live shows. So.
No, I don't think that. I don't think you were late to the party at all with Metallica, because like I mean I didn't start listening to them until Death Magnetic.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was my first Metallica album.
Yeah, I have all their albums now, but
I am in the process of getting all of them. I'm going backwards. I'm going from the newest ones and just going back. Right now, I have to get a copy of. I think the Black Album is the next one I have to get.
yeah.
I already have Master of Puppets. I bought the remastered one.
To me, I think they kind of go up and down for me. You know, I love the Black
Metallica?
Album, yeah, but then like Reload, I didn't like Reload.
Well, like I mean, look, the first album is good for what it is, but I'm not a huge fan of the first Metallica album. Like, it's good. It's just not it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like, if I ranked their albums, it'd be closer to the bottom of the list. Like,
oh really?
my personal taste. I don't know.
That was a new one too. Everybody freaked out about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean,
because-
I get what it did, you know, and I get why people liked it so much.
yeah. You can appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, I can appreciate it,
yeah.
but it's not for me. Ride the Lightning is fantastic. I love that album. That one is like, it's hard for me to rank their albums because like I love them all for different reasons. Like, and I love them all for different songs, and they all have, you know, that one song that that I don't like quite as much on the album. Like I don't even know what it would be on Kill 'Em All. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but on the second one, it'd probably be. Some people would point out Escape because it was like that's like their radio friendly song. Their
commercial.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the record company wanted them to do something that was like slower and softer, but I think it's still a good song. But
Well, like in the 80s, every metal band had to have a ballad,
yeah,
or you wouldn't be on the radio, or you wouldn't be big at all, you know.
yeah.
So you got a ballad from all these hair metal ballads, you know. I don't think Metallica really went there, but, you know.
Well,
I'm sure
even
they-
in their ballad song, which I'd say it's Fade to Black was their ballad, off the second album, it still like got heavy somewhat. You know, it was kind of like a soft acoustic guitar through a lot of the song,
Yeah.
but then kicks in that real crunchy, just dan, 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 dan. It's good. It's a good song.
Crunchy.
yeah,
crunchy.
Crunchy.
Real crunchy. That's a sound that the guitar makes.
Yeah.
Big old bite.
Big old bite of crunch.
That grunge area you're talking about, to me, it didn't seem like it lasted that long.
I don't think it did. I think that, these opinions are formed from that documentary I watched, but I guess a lot of people feel that like grunge ended, whenever Kurt Cobain killed himself. I guess it's considered either that or when Soundgarden broke up, like when they actually split.
I don't know, you know, because they almost went commercial.
Soundgarden?
No, like Nirvana and Soundgarden.
Yeah, and I think that was the problem.
You were losing the grunge already, you know, almost like what's that band's? Nimrod. They have that album Nimrod and
Green Day.
Green Day.
Yeah.
How they went from punk when they got big, they just lost all that. And then they lost their fan base and stuff like that too.
I think that assumption about Green Day is honestly a little harsh because like Dookie, while it does have That's the name of the album.
I know.
I see you holding back a laugh over there. But Dookie is it's a pretty solid album. It definitely has pop elements to it, but it still has punk elements too. Like people look at Green Day, like they completely changed their sound. Like they're not punk at all anymore. It's like people that say Metallica was no longer metal once the Black Album hit.
Yeah.
No, the Black Album is still metal. There are some solid metal songs on there.
Well, I mean, Green Day got big.
Same with Green Day.
Yeah, they got.
And I think that's the problem is that like once you hit success, you know, your fans that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you're going to have these haters that.
Well, I feel like you know the fan that's like really into the music scene. Once the musician kind of makes it, I feel like the fan might think or might feel that like they can't connect with them anymore. You know, they can't really.
They're no longer a secret that they have or something like that, and so now it's open to everybody, and
like they're not like you're not special anymore.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, you're not special anymore.
I don't know.
No, you not.
But yeah, that's what I think. I think that's.
But like Nirvana, you know, they had some good albums before Nevermind, but then they started getting this commercial, you know, and they still kind of stayed true to their.
Yeah, they kind of stayed true to their sound a little bit.
I feel like they didn't like the commercial. Weren't
Kurt
they like
Cobain
weren't
did
they
not.
weren't like on a show and like they wanted them to like do a certain thing, but they're like no. So
yeah,
just, like,
that's
That
that
was
MTV
Unplugged.
performance.
Unplugged.
Like
okay.
where Kurt like went crazy. Well, he was.
No, they wanted
high.
them to keep going, or they wanted them to do something differently, or something like that. And he said, "No, that's enough. This is all we're going to do." You know.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay. Well, that's another.
Yeah.
That's another moment I'm thinking of where he just kind of lost his cool.
Yeah, and he left it the way he. I mean, in his mind, that's the way it should have gone, and then here, you know, it was one of the.
They
biggest
wanted
albums.
more. Yeah.
But I mean, I love that album. That
Is it In
Unplugged.
Utero or?
In Utero. It was after that. I think there was the Unplugged thing.
So I remember one where he like was singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit," but he wasn't singing it like how he normally does. He was just like kind of goofing off. And then like I think it's when like they wouldn't let him play their own instruments.
That
or
was
something.
that was the MTV Video Awards or something.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Because one he was really high when that went down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
that's
the one where he they threw their guitars up in the air and they
Chris
trashed
hit
his
he hit the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
He threw his bass up and it came down.
I think
That's
they wouldn't
karma.
let them play their own music, so they just like had it playing in the background or something to act like they were playing or something like that. And then they got mad at that. They're
Well,
like,
it's
no.
like
so they're
that-
all just like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when he was just doing this.
Yeah, the whole time.
Well, the Chili Peppers did the same thing when they played the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Flea's bass wasn't even plugged in.
Really?
Yeah. I guess
That's messed up. That's a huge stage. And
that's
then
a huge stage,
That's
and the
disrespectful.
Chili Peppers, like to me, they've earned their name. You know,
They've
they've earned the
played
right to play
concerts
that.
that have been plugged, so I don't understand why.
Yeah.
They
That's
Like-
almost like a Milli Vanilli thing, you know.
Yeah, but I guess it was last minute. Like they're like, hey, we need you guys to fake it, and they're like, no.
Yeah,
but
no,
like
we're not going to do it.
I think they're already like they already got paid for it. Like they're already on contract. But when they went out there, if you go and watch it, you can see like there are some parts when Flea's like not he's like doing like just slapping the bass,
Slapping the bass, man.
slap on our bass. I
Yeah.
watched that movie the other day.
The bass man.
I love Paul Rudd.
She's like, okay, now stop it.
I slap on our bass. Anything with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, that's on my list.
I like Paul Rudd. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
And he's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's why I like him because he's not like special.
He's just a
dude.
guy. He's just
a
a
guy.
millionaire.
Yeah,
Nobody
he's just
special.
being himself.
He's just Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Ew.
Ant-Man.
Choking
Paul Rudd's
up.
got him choked up.
Yeah. Speaking of Ant-Man, I'm just kidding.
Man, I'm so excited for the new Marvel movie for Endgame. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
That'd be kind of cool.
Kinda cool. Kinda cool.
The only joke I've been seeing is how Ant-Man's supposed to be tiny inside Thanos' butt and then like get really big all of a sudden and then he'll just explode.
That I mean,
That's
hey,
the only
that's
thing I've...
easy win right there. Just zip on up there and tap the other button and
Ew.
Yeah, that'd be
Dunzo.
gross.
There'd just be purple puke everywhere.
And he would be
They
known
did
for
that
for the
in
rest
a-
of his life.
they did that in
A butt nugget.
You're a
Ew,
butt ant,
butt
dude.
butt ant.
Yeah.
Butt Man. That's the new man. Butt Man.
Leaves chat. Oh, we're not talking about any spoilers. We're just talking about what hasn't came out yet.
Yeah, what has it? We're speculating. I know that the Fox Disney thing is like it's official now. Like Disney owns Fox,
All
so
right.
we're gonna get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
It's gonna be a super universe.
I mean,
just
it's already
go to movies
super.
for the concessions anyway.
I just go there for the popcorn and
Just go for
it's
the
just playing in the
Even if it's a
background.
bad movie, I know the concessions. Are gonna be good.
That is no truer words have ever been spoken.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bad movie,
I
The soda and popcorn will be
no,
good.
like I've been getting ices at the movie theater lately, and they're so good.
yeah.
Like I think everyone should get an icy when they go to the movies, because
Popcorn, and pop.
just dip your popcorn in the
Miss
icy.
Code 2020 and icy for everyone.
Yep, everyone gets one.
You
Any
get an
flavor.
icy.
Except
and
when,
you
except
get
when they
an
don't have
icy.
white cherry, and then I get mad. They just have regular cherry. Dude, it's stupid.
Yeah.
That darn regular cherry, man.
Turn my mouth red.
It's good though. I think it tastes.
Tastes just like white cherry.
Actually, it
hmm
no, they
But it's
taste kind of.
white.
They can taste kind of different. Like there's
No.
like a slight difference in taste. Maybe I just want
There's
to
not
believe
the
there's a
food
difference.
coloring taste.
I don't
That's
taste the
it is.
chemicals in this,
It's
guys.
like devil's food cake, or chocolate cake.
Ooh,
Same exact
cake.
thing. This one's red.
Yep.
Man, so
Velvet.
when they went on their New Orleans trip, they bought a whole bunch of snacks for the drive down there. But when they came back, they didn't eat all the snacks. And some of the snacks were Twinkies, and like I used to really like Twinkies when I was a kid. But I hadn't had one in like years.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that great.
Twinkies are gross, guys.
Twinkies are not
Kotecast
that
exclusive.
great.
I think they might have been different because I used to like them too, but now they taste like a sponge type of thing.
Yeah,
Well,
it is
I feel like I'm eating
sponge.
like
Mhm.
cardboard sponge cardboard.
Yeah, you're eating that little thing on somebody's crutches.
Ew. That
Now
sounds.
every time I eat a Twinkie, I'm just gonna taste onions.
Taste pit.
Yeah, it tastes
Be like,
armpit.
dude. Ew, I hate Twinkies. I used to eat them all the time though. I used to eat all kinds of sweets.
Zebra cakes were the best. Those are my favorite.
I don't know.
You know
No.
Zebra cakes.
I like those
I like
brown
everything.
cupcakes.
Yeah, and he's like, I like everything. It's
Yeah,
it's food I
zingers
like
were
it.
my favorite.
Zingers.
The vanilla zingers. Like
That's
the-
it's like
Ew.
it's
Not
Twinkies
the
with it's a
chocolate ones.
Twinkie with an
Chocolate ones are
ice
good.
or with icing on top.
Yeah.
That's what zingers.
so the icing makes
It's
the whole
good.
difference.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Ew, no. Icing on anything's yuck.
No,
Dude.
what?
No,
I don't like it on cake or cupcakes.
No,
or-
it depends. One, the amount of icing, because you can't have too much icing. Like too much icing is like it's like sugar. It's like sugar overload.
yeah,
like,
you'll
I
start
just-
shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go into a
your
coma.
eyes will be like,
But look, you get the right amount, and then you do like I think it's buttercream icing,
mhm.
not like the
Whipped or whatever.
like because it's like a lot more of like a creamy texture. It's not really grainy like I guess standard icing is. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
have no idea.
I don't know.
I just eat
Food
it.
Yeah, I just
connoisseur.
eat it. I'm a food connoisseur,
Yeah,
guys. Food and music, that's what I'm all about.
yeah. We got way off of music and started
We're talking about
Oh,
food.
sorry. We
That's
started talking
okay.
about Ant-Man.
talking about food.
Colin started crying for a second about Ant-Man.
Yeah. Ant-Man, no. But
Yeah,
Avengers Endgame is gonna be awesome.
I'm excited for Star Wars too, and then
Ooh, yes.
Hitman 4 is coming out too.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Is that fighting movie?
Donnie
Yeah.
Yen's gonna be in it again, right? Because the last one he wasn't in, was he?
No, he was in it. He's been in all
All of them.
4 of them. Yeah, but there's
Didn't he not want to do another one? Or
yeah, he was wanting to stop at 3 because he said we've said all there is to say about that. But I don't know. I guess money talks.
the money
Yeah.
does talk.
But I don't know. I heard that Bruce Lee might be in this one.
Bruce Lee?
Yeah, I mean not Bruce Lee. But
I was like,
character.
what?
Bruce Lee, yeah.
Like
Oh yeah, he is.
him
I
up.
The
saw
character.
the trailer.
Well, I seen a trailer and he wasn't in it. But
I saw the trailer and he was in it.
well, there's a Quentin Tarantino movie that's coming out that Bruce Lee's in.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking
Yeah.
about. That it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
That looks good. I want to watch it.
Oh,
but
I don't know.
the Ip Man 4, there's no Bruce Lee character in it. But I read an article where there is a character that's going to be portraying Bruce Lee. So
That'd be cool.
I think
Yeah,
it'd
be
cool.
careful. Be careful portraying Bruce Lee. That
I was
Lee,
thinking
Lee
like,
curse will follow you around.
You know how in Star Wars how they have that guy that that's been dead since 1991 or something like that. You know?
Oh yeah, and they brought him back.
Talking or whatever.
And he was throughout the whole movie, you know. And I thought, what if they did a Bruce Lee, another Bruce
I mean, you
Lee
definitely can, and he was in that whole movie, but he also looked out of place, like a video game character, the whole movie. So,
but that's been some years too.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, I mean, they've proved it with the Marvel movies. Like you watched Captain Marvel, right?
If it's done right, though, your focus won't be on that so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like Sam Jackson
looks
looks great in Captain Marvel. Like they de-aged him and it looks really good. But they did Phil Coulson, his buddy. I don't know what the actor's name is. It's Greg something. I think he looks like a Greg. But
they did the same thing to what's her face in Aquaman.
Oh,
his mom.
Yeah, I don't know what her name is.
At the beginning, she's young too. So is his dad.
The first movie that I remember them doing that on was Tron Legacy with Jeff Bridges, and it looked really bad.
Well, they did that in Ant-Man too, didn't they?
Yeah, I think Tron Legacy came before Ant-Man though.
Oh. I think.
No, it did. Tron Legacy came out when I was still in high school.
Yeah.
It did.
20 years
Don't
ago.
question me.
Yeah.
Wait. Leave chat.
Chat was talking about whenever you guys were talking about zingers.
Zingers.
He said, I haven't had one any lately, but they used to be good.
They still are.
They still are.
You remember when Twinkies can't speak tonight. You remember when Twinkies went away? Like Twinkies got canceled.
Yeah, I didn't care.
And like people lost their minds. Like you're like Twinkies, no. They needed their
It's
Twinkies.
America's
Like
snack.
people were pulling together and like campaigning.
See, people losing their minds.
Bill, it's okay.
Mr. Mouth.
That's right. But yeah, man, people lost their mind and like they were getting together and like, you know, like protesting and rioting over. I don't know if they were rioting, but they were freaking out over Twinkies.
They're breaking windows. And...
It was like Zombieland, just trying to get their Twinkie.
Yeah.
Dude, Zombieland, isn't there a second movie?
Oh yes, the second one's supposed to be coming out.
That's been like rumored for like ever.
Well, it's in production.
Yeah.
You never know that.
Like I don't.
They always cancel crap.
I mean, it could end up in development hell. Like that's.
I thought the first one did pretty good.
I love the first Zombie.
I just like Woody
That movie was
Harrelson.
Great. Yeah, Woody Harrelson's
cool.
pretty great.
He's
Yeah,
good.
right.
He's pretty. I
think he's pretty great. I liked him in that last Apes movie.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, when he played the Colonel. Like he plays a good bad guy. Like
I don't like him as a bad guy. I like him when he's
think
nice.
yeah, but I think he makes a really good bad guy.
He makes a good psycho.
Yeah, like just a crazy dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale?
No.
Man, he plays like just this crazy dude in that movie. Like how he's introduced is he's I think this is how he's introduced, but he's at a drive-in movie theater and he's sitting in a car with a lady and they're talking, kind of arguing. He starts hitting her, you know, just keeps just hitting her, slapping her around, and she's, you know, crying. And then this dude that's in the car next to him gets out and he's like, "Hey, you know, you need to stop that. Like we got a problem here." Trying to be a tough guy, which kudos for people trying that, even though it was written into the script. But
No, I don't think it was.
yeah, he was like, "What's this guy doing over here?
What are all these cameras doing around here?
Where am I?
Why are y'all filming this?"
Help! Why aren't you guys doing anything?
So when it introduces his character, like this dude goes over and he tries to be a tough guy and stop him, and he gets out and he beats the daylight out of this guy. Like, and that's like his character introduction. Like he's like this crazy, like just psycho dude, and like he plays the role so well. Like he does that character type.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does a good like psycho guy.
I would hate to be an actor that gets typecast, like, because you're only going to play like Shia LaBeouf. He's typecast. He plays the same character in every movie.
Well, so
I haven't seen a lot of movies with him in it.
I've seen quite a bit.
Who
yeah,
else?
he has this like He's like always on edge or something. And always.
He's on edge, generic on edge white guy. That's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
That's who he's.
He's
cast
like
as.
he's like under that category.
Yeah.
He's like, we need to pick some generic white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what about
Top
that?
of the
What
list.
about that LaBeouf kid?
Yeah.
What's he doing these days? Is he still going crazy?
Well, you think about it, I mean, some of the like A-list people are the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves, he plays the same character in every movie.
But Keanu Reeves is cool.
Yeah, I love Keanu
He
Reeves.
can't act though. But
No, he can't. No, he can't. He can do some awesome action scenes, and I don't.
John Wick movies are awesome. I mean, I love those
Man,
movies.
look,
John Wicker.
I love the first John Wick movie. That movie is so good.
The second one's cool too.
I haven't seen it.
Oh. So you better hurry up. The third one's coming out.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
need to watch it before. I
Binge.
need to watch it before
John
before I
Wick
go watch the
binge.
third one.
Yeah.
Like I think the first one was just so good that like I didn't
Yeah.
want to watch the second one.
I
I
haven't
was
even
like,
seen the
man,
first
I
one.
should just
No, I
leave
wanted
it.
more of the first one. So
I should just leave it
watch
as
the second
is.
one. No, it's good. That was surprising because there's a lot of action movies that are mainly stories, and when I watched John Wick, it was action from the very beginning.
Yeah,
And
like
that
with
was
that
just
car,
cool.
that car
Yeah.
scene, like that was just really cool.
The whole thing was on. I was
And
on
that
edge the whole
car,
movie.
man. Ooh,
Yeah.
that boss. It was Boss 302, I think.
Yeah. Why are you sweating?
Why is your nose bleeding?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have a soft spot for muscle cars. Can't help it.
Yeah.
And then he gets that 70 Chevelle SS later in the movie.
Yeah, he was given that car.
I have
It's
no
just-
idea
yeah.
what any of
Stolen.
these cars look like.
They look like amazing cars. You want me to pull them up in chat for you?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I can imagine them. I just imagine
Just imagine a square car that's really loud. And there you go.
a box.
That's like a box that makes a lot of noise. That's basically a muscle car for you.
But yeah, those are some movies that I like that are coming out. Can't wait for.
Yeah.
I want to see Lion King.
Ah, yes. I wish that Disney would stop focusing on like these movies that don't need to be remade and touched.
I have no
Remade and
problem with
touched.
it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like,
Yeah, there you go.
like I'm excited to see it.
No, look, and I'm not saying like they
Oh.
shouldn't do it, like, but I want them to focus on some other movies, like Atlantis: The Lost Empire. That's one that I really want to see a live action remake for. That's like such an
There's
underrated
not that much of
action
a
movie.
demand for that though.
Yeah.
No, there's not. It's there, but
There's a
it's just not
small
that loud.
like cult following.
That's really
that,
the
like,
well, those films like they're underrated animated films. Those are the only ones that people are like, hey, let's make those.
Yeah.
Like,
I
no
think they'll
one's
get to it.
calling
They're
for
re-
Like Avatar.
They're doing Dora the Explorer.
Just kidding.
So like,
Oh, that's weird.
yeah,
Really?
they're-
Yeah,
they're
they're-
making
they're-
a Dora the Explorer movie, and Danny Trejo's gonna be Boots the
Like
monkey.
a real one, like
Yeah.
a real
Real life, yeah.
Real.
Really?
It's got Michael Pena in it.
I don't know.
He's
His
like,
face is, I don't know. I don't know about all that.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I don't know.
I
about
want
all
to
that
see
noise.
Swiper no swiping.
Well, you know, the audience. I don't know. The audience was. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like
It's the young people that are growing up now. That's what they're remaking as those movies.
That's exactly what I said that one day, because I was like, this is kind of like it. You go like what 10,
like a
15
cycle.
years, and then like you bring it back, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's so much nostalgia for me. Like I have to go
well,
watch it.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is like
Like
the
we're
pe-
at the age now to where like we'll go out and buy tickets ourselves because we're like old enough to.
we have money.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
things we enjoyed growing up. You know, like it's
Yeah, Star Wars is like my generation stuff, you know, and that's awesome. But these younger generations, you know, it's all brand new to them. But
well,
you
I
get these movies like what she's talking about.
I think it's more the Marvel the Marvel movies is this generation. Like I know that the Star Wars movies are still huge, right? And they still have a huge fan base. But I think that the
Marvel's
Marvel
taken
movies
over
are on a
everything.
different level. Like
They're like
well,
the-
even those are old cartoon,
old comic books, yeah. Like
So, I
they're
mean, they were
they're based
around.
off of another source, you
Yeah.
know.
But I
it's
think
still the same thing.
they were the
Yeah.
first ones to actually tie in a whole bunch of movies,
Yeah.
like you know, almost like a
I-
novel.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith did that with his movies, his View Askew universe before the MCU. All of his movies were connected and they
I
shared
feel like
they shared
there's
characters.
been movies
But
in
he
the past
did that
have
because
done that
of
though.
comic books, like because he was a comic book fan.
No, I don't know if there was though, like a character from another movie.
Yeah,
There
like
another one?
they're like there's kind of connected movies in a way,
Yeah,
like same universe kind of
Stories,
movies.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so Smith said that in one of his podcasts that the first time he ever saw that was in some. I'm not gonna be able to tell you what the movie was called. Like it was a movie I've never heard of before, but he said that it was the first time he had ever seen like an after credit scene that connected two movies. Like
really?
yeah, and this is back. This is back in like the 80s.
It's like what M. Night Shyamalan.
Kind of like what M. Night Shyamalan. Like the movies are completely separate until that very like the post credit scene, and then boom, they're connected and they're in the same universe.
Throw a guy in there.
Yeah, just like, oh hey, you thought it was over? Surprise!
Yeah.
Guess what? Secret sequel.
I always thought, for the longest time, I always thought it would be so cool to have a movie going on in the background. You know, because you have like Godzilla walking through a city, destroying buildings and stuff like that. And so in the movie, you see all these people running around and they have lives, you know, they have stories. And I thought, what if, you know, way over here you have this love story like The Notebook or something like that, and you see Godzilla in the background running around.
Oh my God.
I need this, The Notebook, but with Godzilla.
Yeah. But I mean, they have no reference to that Godzilla or anything like that. It's all about, you know.
That's the title for this.
Just see it on
for
the
this
TV
episode, by the
playing in
way.
the background, the news.
Thank you for that, Andy.
The Notebook.
The Notebook, but with Godzilla. That's going to be the
Yeah.
title of this episode.
Yeah, but I mean, I always thought that'd be cool, you know, and then they're starting to do that with all these Marvel stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but they kind of did that with the last Godzilla movie. Like, they told the story about what was going on around Godzilla while all this stuff was going on, and people didn't like that. Like, people were like, no, give us more Godzilla!
Well, I'm excited
Yeah.
for the new Godzilla.
Yeah, the
too.
new Godzilla looks dope.
Monsters.
Every monster is in this movie. Well,
What
not
is it
everyone.
called? King of the Monsters or something like that.
Yeah,
Is King Kong in it?
No, that's next.
Oh, okay.
Next movie. Because they did Kong Skull Island,
Mm-hmm.
and then, or they did Godzilla and then Kong Skull Island. Now they're doing this one, Godzilla King of Monsters. And then the next one is supposed to be Godzilla versus King Kong. And I think it's the same King Kong and Godzilla from their, respective
It
movies.
should be.
I think so.
But they made King Kong like a hero
Baby.
Really?
in the Kong movie.
Well, he's
Usually
really
he's-
like a tragic tragic villain, I guess you could say in the.
Yeah, well, yeah, they take him out of his habitat and bring him to the
Yeah.
city, and then he destroys everything. But like here, he was the good guy. I think he was only protecting,
He was protecting the girl.
yeah.
Which I think that's kind of how it is in the other ones, man. See, I wish that the old, the Peter Jackson King Kong.
Yeah,
See, that was a really good movie for the first half of it.
yeah.
The back half, like once they leave the island and
Yeah,
got
I
to
liked
New
it
York,
on the island.
like it was so boring. Like
I
I
like
was
the
like, this-
bug scene when it's
She's
like,
ice skating with King Kong.
Freaking gorilla.
That is a 5-minute scene in the movie of her
Yeah.
ice skating with the giant gorilla.
I didn't really care for that movie,
I loved the island stuff though.
and I heard he only did Lord of the Rings
Mm-hmm.
to make money to make that King Kong movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did all 3 of them just so we could have the money to do the King Kong
Yeah,
movie.
that's
And then the King
crazy.
Kong movie is the one that did not stick.
Yeah,
Yeah, King Kong is no go.
Yeah, it's not good.
no.
Yeah,
Kong
well,
is good.
I've never
Just-
seen
that has
Kong.
Tom Hiddleston in it, doesn't it? Got some
Yeah.
Loki action.
I don't know.
I think it
Yeah,
does.
yeah, it does.
I think it does.
Yeah, and Samuel L. Jackson.
He's in it too.
Hey.
Hey, Marvel reunion.
It's connected to
Yeah.
Marvel.
And that's how they connect. Fury. That's how he gets furious.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't furry before this.
I would say something about that, but some people probably haven't seen Captain Marvel before or yet before.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, before.
So I probably should not drop spoilers.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
So another thing that's interesting, this isn't really music related, but Andy here has never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. Never watched that series. Well,
I've seen
now he's seen some of it,
Mm-hmm.
but that's my favorite series. Like I love that series. It's one that I watched as a kid. I watched it as it aired on TV, and since as an adult, I've watched the series like a few times. I'm not going to tell you how many times. I'm slightly ashamed of it.
Just forces it down everyone else's
Mm,
throat.
yeah.
Yes.
I haven't liked any episode.
Yeah. I want to share what I love with other people.
Quit crying.
But no, I got Andy to watch it. I think we're on season 3. Have you watched any more since the last time you were over here?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we're like on season 3. But what have you thought about it so far? It's been a little bit.
I like it. It was a slow start,
Yeah, season 1's rough,
and it was like
or at least the first part of season 1 is kind of rough.
it almost didn't have any kind of meat to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and then it starts to kind of pick up, I guess, as the characters build and stuff like that, and then you're starting to reintroduce to these characters that you know
Yeah.
met in the first one. I don't know. It's getting better. The
It
storyline
gets
is.
meatier.
Yeah.
It does, like, especially into book 3, like you deal with, I guess, more mature content.
And
like,
then it gets more mature and more action.
yeah, and like the fight scenes in season 3 are like, they're awesome. Like, they're really cool.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Cartoon.
yeah, I've watched a lot of cartoons, a lot of anime, so like
Yeah.
you get a lot of really cool fight scenes in cartoons and anime. So, but especially the final fight is like really good. It's like, it's almost like one of those, like, you're like, oh, while you watch it. At least I was when I was a kid and I watched it.
You
I
like
watched that one by myself. But that is it on Netflix? They're gonna make a new one, or is it?
They're doing the live action retelling of it.
Yeah.
But the show's creators are the showrunners for it, like the ones that wrote it.
I'm sure it's not gonna be that long though, right? They're probably just gonna.
What I'm
condense
thinking, it's gonna be like 12, I think 13 episodes, 12 or 13 episodes,
it. Hour-long episodes.
probably hour-long episodes. So I imagine they'll be able to fit everything in. I'm excited for it. Like,
Yeah. I bet
it's
you are.
something new, new Avatar stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm already in the bag for this.
I was really excited for that Watership Down that they put on Netflix.
Watership Down.
Yeah, it's an old cartoon.
Oh, is that the one with the rabbit?
Yeah, with the rabbits.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch that when I was little, and we used to watch that all the time. And so now it's more of a live looking thing.
I don't think I've ever. I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
But the rabbits still move kind of
Like glitchy.
animated, yeah.
Like,
And so everybody got kind of in an uproar about that. But why?
but is it
It's
supposed
just
to
still
be
a
like
cool
live
story.
action, or
Kind of
like CGI mixed with live action?
yeah.
People are too picky.
I like it. It's a good movie.
That's like when people are like getting mad over, the new Toy Story movies coming out. And people are literally getting mad over how Andy looks.
Oh,
They're all like, he had plastic
hate how
surgery.
you look, Andy.
And they're all like, people still want that 140p animation going on. And
Like,
like
they
when,
want that potato quality.
Yeah, like, because
CGI.
clearly they're like, it's not about that. It's about his face shape. His face shape is different. I'm like,
I'm sorry. Do you want him to have an oversized forehead and just,
and big giant jowls?
yeah,
for
like
no reason.
he's a weird looking kid in the old ones.
Yeah.
There's some kid listening
He's
to us that
creepy.
looks exactly like
He's like, oh.
like 94 Toy Story Andy, and he's crying right now.
Yeah.
We're sorry, 94 Toy Story
We're
Andy.
sorry.
Andy is not sorry.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, people, I don't know, they take it too far.
Oh yeah, it was
Just
just like,
enjoy it for the story. Just enjoy
Yeah.
it. for-
like if you don't like movies can be bad. Like that you can. It's possible to watch a movie and not like it.
Yeah.
Like when the last Star Wars came out, Episode 8. I like my initial thoughts leaving the theater was that I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I was disappointed with some of the things that happened in it. I watched it opening weekend, so
There's hype.
yeah. Well, I got to kind of form my opinion on it, without the influence of the internet or other people, before the outrage
Yeah.
broke, before everyone started freaking out and calling it just this terrible, just childhood running movie. Which that's also something that bugs me. Okay, when they remake a movie or if they make a bad movie or whatever,
Mhm.
it doesn't ruin your childhood. It doesn't ruin what
Yeah.
what that movie's based
I
on.
lost my job because that movie sucked so bad. Your life doesn't change.
Nope.
Just go on to the next movie.
But dude, I've never seen nerds rage so hard
Yeah.
than with that
Yeah.
Episode 8, man. It was
I liked the movie.
insane. I thought it had some pretty cool redeeming parts, man. Like the Yoda Force Ghost, that right there. That one moment with the Yoda Force Ghost was with Yoda talking to old Luke.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was.
And then him and his sister. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Space Leia is still
And I like
super
the-
lame though.
I like the ships on the sand, the salt. With
Oh
the red.
yeah.
To me, that looked cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a cool artistic kind of a design there.
Yeah, I thought that played out really
It
well.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Except it's hard to do a set like that and have it be consistent with out their steps and whenever they move, because there are a few scenes in that, or a few shots in those scenes where like someone's moving and like the sand doesn't change color under their feet, and like. But I mean, that's something
It's
that
still
I
a lot
would be
better
hard to
than
manage.
like the old Star Wars that I seen. The very first ones.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like a
Boy,
little
they-
bitty square, and the ships were moving. Through the. So yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. If you go back and watch them, they didn't really age extremely well. Well, the first one didn't.
I didn't like when they went from 3 to 1.
Episode 3 to episode 1.
Yeah.
Well, like you got a whole like change in like the tone of everything.
Exactly. I mean, it went from like set pieces to
All
CGI, and you got these huge floating cities and all that.
Well,
stuff
I think
that
that's
just
the
kinda threw
problem
it
is that George fell in love with the CGI image, man. Like,
It's the next big thing.
yeah, it was the next big thing, but I guess they just didn't realize at the time that that stuff is gonna look incredibly
Practical
dated.
effects are really great. Like if you
Oh,
can pull
yes.
practical effects off, well,
Yes.
do it. But they're expensive
They are
compared
super
to
expensive.
CGI.
But that's what people want, though. Like,
Yeah.
that's what people want, and they know that's how they make money. But just that isn't enough. Like, you gotta have a good, like that's like seasoning on top of an already good dish.
Mhm.
Like the meal's still good by itself, but maybe add a little salt and pepper to it.
Yeah.
But you gotta have a good meal. If your meal is trash, a salt and pepper will just cover up the bad taste. Like,
Yeah.
Try to.
yeah, try it.
You'll still be crying while you're eating it.
Oh man.
And the movies need to have a great story. And that's what needs to be remembered.
Yeah.
And if it's just all CGI stuff, then that's going to be forgotten pretty quick. I think.
Well, it was just like that Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk, the one that came out after the first Iron Man. The ending of that movie was like a big video game boss battle. Like it was like these two CGI monsters just like wrecking downtown Harlem.
Oh, I never seen the Hulk movies.
You're not missing much.
Yeah.
There's only one of them, and
I heard there was 2, but one was like real CGI looking and real.
oh
terrible.
well, because they did it was who directed that one? Ang Lee. Ang Lee is the guy that directed the other Hulk, and that one was in 2003, I believe.
Mhm.
That's the one where he fights the roided up poodles. Did you ever see that one?
Poodles.
Roided up poodles. Like there's
Didn't know about that.
yeah, the lab that created him, or whoever I can't remember exactly how it goes, but they send these dogs after him, and they inject him with the Hulk serum, and so you got like a pit bull, a Rottweiler, and a pink poodle, and it's just funny looking, and like it's like it's got
Yeah.
hair tufts around its like it's shaved to look like a poodle like that.
I'm glad I didn't see that one then.
Yeah, that one's not very good.
But
And
yeah, I
then-
mean, like,
that it's also not connected to the MCU. That one's like its own movie.
you get these movies that have like great stories, and you're connected to it that way. But if it's just all CGI,
Yeah.
once you leave the theater, you've got to go back to the movie to feel that again.
Yeah.
It's not something you can take home and say, "Oh man, that was an awesome story," and remember it that way.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like were you on the boy? What do you do?
I'm just moving this so I can get up. Oh, there's a guitar case in the way.
No, scoot it down. Ah! I'm breaking stuff. We're not breaking stuff, but knocking stuff over. What's up, Nugs? What's up, boy? Did you what was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you something about the last Star Wars movie.
I don't know.
I needed some water. And that it's
You
gone.
were parched.
I was parched. You dogs aren't even in bed. Does it feel really warm in here to you?
Mm-hmm.
I feel really warm in here. Hold on just a second, guys. I'm going to turn this fan up a little bit. There.
It's gonna be right on me, blowing my stink throughout this whole room.
It's okay.
I get to be an air freshener.
Make our podcast Andy scented.
It smells like fry bread in here.
We got 5. They've got 5 on it.
I got 5 on it.
We
I
went
can't
and
remember my
watched,
password.
Us today.
Oh yeah, I did too. I went and saw it yesterday.
Did you like it?
It was weird. I'll just say it was weird.
There's a lot of questions I have
This will
about
be
it.
spoiler free, by the way. But
To me, I don't know.
or may
Yeah, I mean, I have questions too. You know, like when it ended, I thought, well, why did they say that part?
yeah,
earlier?
like
you know,
to me that almost like that ending twist,
yeah,
like that was almost like all that does is make plot holes.
yeah,
Like that makes to me, like maybe I'd need to watch it a second time, because it was like with Get Out. If you watch Get Out a second time when you know the ending, like things throughout the movie like have a different meaning. Like you're like,
really?
oh yeah, I think it's one of those movies. Like now that you know the ending, go back and watch it, and maybe certain things will stand out to you. Like, oh,
Well,
that's
I
Yeah.
liked Get Out because it
Nugget.
had a different perspective on looking at today's issue type of
Mhm.
thing, you know.
well,
But this one I thought was going to be the same way, but it really didn't.
see
turn out to be
that's
that
kind
way.
of what I was looking for, because like
Yeah.
his other movie was, it was pretty heavy with social commentary, like, and I felt that this one was going to be the same thing, and everything I had read about it, like leading up to me watching it, it said that it was kind of like this. Oh, we're gonna have to turn the fan back down. I moved it up and turned it on because it was kind of hot, but
I feel fine. But I also get cold easily, so.
yeah, I just flip it back down to 2.
Now no one gets fan.
Yeah,
Move it back where?
that's fine. I mean, I just needed to turn it down because your mic was picking it up. But yeah, I thought that it was gonna have like some kind of like, political message or something like that. Some kind of like observation on how our society functions, and maybe it does. And I
think it did.
I just completely missed
I
the
picked
picture.
some things up I thought that could probably relate to it. Kind of maybe like more environmental focus issues.
I think like one of the messages that like we're killing ourselves, and I think maybe like the targeted audience is.
I don't know who the target audience is.
Yeah, it really could apply to everybody. Like, I don't think it like Get Out was definitely like a commentary on like black relations and like how kind of what
Just kidding.
I said the word. I didn't
I
say
don't
the
know.
bad,
I
bad
don't think
word,
that
so it's okay.
really had anything to really do with race in any way.
Not
in this
not
movie.
this one. Yeah, not this
yeah,
one.
not this one at all. Like,
But the first one definitely. But this
Yeah.
one, I think it's an issue that applies to everyone. I think it applies to us as a whole, like as a species, if you will. I
yeah.
sound like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, and I don't know what that issue is.
Yeah, like it's kind of hard to talk about it because it just came out, and like I don't want to
Mhm.
give anything away. But like, I definitely have a lot of questions though. We'll
Yeah.
discuss it more maybe afterwards, But
Yeah.
also want to I want to get a few episodes of Avatar in. How long have we been going?
30
1
minutes.
hour.
Looks like an hour and 21 minutes. I think that is an okay
3 more hours.
time.
Just kidding.
Till 5 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
All night long.
I think we're gonna call our episode 2 right
Had an
around
awesome
this time.
guest today.
Yeah.
If you guys are just now tuning in, make sure you go back and watch
Yes.
the full podcast, guys.
Thank you, Miss Coat, for closing for me.
Yes, that was awesome.
That was awesome. I was
Um,
struggling there for a minute.
No, it's great having awesome guests
He
on
was
the
thinking of
end.
Ant-Man again.
was.
Ant-Man expanding inside Thanos.
That sounded dirtier than you meant it, I
I
imagine.
know, I'm sorry. Guys, erase that from your memory. Okay, closing out.
All right, guys. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for watching.
You want to give our guest the floor for anything
yes.
he wants to say?
That's something that I meant to message you about this, but something I want to do on my podcast. This is very much structured, kind of how Joe Rogan does his, but I just wanted to kind of add something at the end. He lets people plug themselves, whatever they're doing. So I just want to give the floor over to you.
I'm not doing anything.
Like you got the microphone, you can say whatever you want to whoever's
Any life
talking.
advice?
Any life advice,
Any...
be it religion, politics, whatever, man. It's all yours.
I have no idea.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I don't know.
He
Just be
has
good.
no idea.
Yeah. Be good to people.
There you go.
Yeah.
Be good,
good.
guys.
Be good to people. That's the message we're leaving.
Don't be good to
tonight.
animals, just people.
Yeah,
guys.
not animals.
You heard
I'm
it
just
here
kidding.
first.
Love animals.
Yeah, love everything.
Yeah.
Don't abuse your pet.
Yeah.
Love your
please.
parents. Call your grandma.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, good night, guys. Kotecast, episode number 2, closing. Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys. See you again next time.
Not me though.